Hello, Alexa here with Kelowna Now. I haven't actually got to sit down and do many of these Best of Kelowna live streams. Melissa's like, I'm late to the game, Alexa. And I'm like, no, this is a celebration all year round. We love to celebrate entrepreneurs, small businesses. So I have Melissa Berg in studio with me, and she's thrilled to be here. Okay, Melissa, can you kick it off and just give a little introduction of who you are?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Berg with MJ Berg Contracting. I do first aid and aquatic instruction.
Very cool. So can we just back up? I said to you offline, there's not that many of you, I think, out there. So what does your job what does that mean?
So it basically means I have a couple of branches within my created company. I'm the owner and operator in all, and I'm the instructor for all at this point. I've got a first aid side, which basically lets me teach intermediate, basic CPR, community care first aid, anything kind of WorkSafe approved. I'm under the Royal Lifesaving Society as an affiliate, so all certifications are issued through them, and I have all of my certifications through them. And then on the other side, I have my aquatic side of the business, which is my national lifeguard instructor, my bronze instructor, and then my swim instructor. So I teach children, I teach people to teach children, I teach lifeguards. And so, yeah, it's under the aquatic realm, and it's, again, underneath the Royal Lifesaving Society, and all certifications are through them.
Very cool. That's a lot of certifications.
Yes, it's been many years.
You're like a one-stop shop for safety.
Especially water-related, yes. I pretty much have it all almost in water safety.
Wow. So how does someone like this get into it? Were you a big swimmer? What?
I grew up near a beach, so my mom's rules was we had to learn to swim because we lived by a beach. So swimming lessons weren't an option. It was a required life skill. And so I kind of got my inspiration through the fact that I just swam all summer long. My sisters and I were always at the beach. Mm-hmm. And then from there, we had to do all our swimming lessons. So for me, I just did all the way up to bronze. And then from there, I was like, well, why wouldn't I do my lifeguarding? Took my lifeguard and then got hired as a swim instructor and lifeguard at the YMCA. And was there for my first 8 years in my career. And I got my other instructor certifications in the basic levels there, and enjoyed 8 years with the Y to start off. Yeah.
Very cool. Are you ever too old to learn how to swim? Someone was actually just side conversation. Someone was like she's in her 30s and she doesn't know how to swim. And I found that very odd.
It sometimes is, especially when people think about the fact that we have so much water here. They go, why wouldn't you have learned how to swim? But people come from different backgrounds. People come from different financial abilities. Sometimes people move here and they've never had a beach or a lake ever accessible to them, or don't spend much time in the pools. I don't think there's ever a time where you can't learn to swim. Okay. This summer in my swimming program, I had all of July and all of August. I did swimming lessons Monday to Friday in sessions, and my youngest student was 5 months old and my parent and taught, and I had adults as well who figured out that they wanted to try to learn to swim. So I'm an advocate that if you want to learn to swim, it's a great skill to have at any age. One of the ones that I had was because they were like, hey, I realized that I'm not going to keep up with my kids and I want to be able to keep them safe. I had a mom who was like, I want to learn how to do some water safety with my baby in the bathtub. So let me do lessons to figure out how I can expose them to water safety at a young age and do some fun stuff in the lake and the pool. So yeah, that's kind of, people come in with different reasons.
Yeah. Can we talk about why it's a little bit I don't think some people first aid or whatever. You teach skills that can save a life, really.
Yes.
Why is that so important, and why shouldn't more of us be learning this? I actually think about it. I'm I don't think I've had first aid training since I was a teenager and I did babysitting school or something, and I had to get my little certificate. That was 12.
I think I have many different reasons why it's important. A lot of the first aid that I teach is typically for industry. So meaning construction companies or a dental office or chiropractic offices. A lot of those people have to have it because their work requires it. So there's a lot of people getting it because of requirements. But then what's been really interesting to see changing in the industry, or at least in opportunities that I've had lately, is people want to learn it just because they want to learn it. Mm-hmm. So I've expanded this past couple of years to do workshops. So for example, I've gone into seniors and retirement residences that have invited me to come saying, hey, we just got an AED in our building. We have no idea what we're doing with this. can you please come and give an instruction on this? And then I come and do a little workshop on like heart attacks, stroke, stuff that would be very relevant at that age to like look out for your friends and your family, and just give some basic education. And the gratitude and the interest that I get in those is actually phenomenal because they're not forced to be there. They're there because they're like, this is necessary at this point in my life and I want to know what's going on. And those have been interesting. Some of them have come in going, I've never done first aid and I just want to learn because now I'm watching my friends and family struggle with different issues and I want to know what to do. So that's been really cool to see more of that side of things for the interest in first aid. But I'm very much an advocate of if you even just take a basic CPR course or a basic swimming, like just get to the point where you can kind of float, tread water, swim a tiny little distance, like that can save your life. If you know how to do CPR and call 911, like you have a chance of saving a life on that end as well.
Well, it's kind of on both sides. You really don't think about it, but it's like you protecting yourself, or if you're in one of these, like, you know, stuff happens, especially in the Okanagan, like swimming, you can drown in a pool. Like, stuff happens, but also the responsibility of maybe being in a scenario where you could help someone in a situation where it's life or death, really.
And the other thing too is one of the motto of the Lifesaving Society is whomsoever you see in distress, treat them as a fellow human being. And so the idea with that, and why I love it, is that if you were in the same scenario of this other person that needs help, would you hope that someone would come and help you as well and have the training for that? Hopefully you would want to do the same for this other person. So I very much am like, if you're hoping to be helped if something happens to you, I hope that you're also willing to then help someone if they are in need as well.
Do you go to schools, or do schools hire you to come and teach? I'm like, that's like something that I'm like, should be like a class.
I've had interest. I'd love to get into more schools. One of the things that I'm trying to build with my business is I would love to do more partnerships. So partnerships with the schools of like, I want to come in and do your grade 11 and 12s. I would love to do partnerships with even like Indigenous groups where it's like, have me come to your space, your land, and I would love to come and like teach first aid in these areas. I've done a lot of work with charities over this past year as well. One of the things I really like about what makes me a little bit different is with charities, all of my travel costs, I donate right back to the charity. Really nice. So they get charged it to start. And then after that, I take that amount that would have been there and I donate it back to the charity because I want to be able to give back. And sometimes my schedule to be able to volunteer isn't there because of the fact that it's contract work and you just work when there's work. And so you can't be committed to volunteering, but that's a way that I really like to give back. So I have had a number of charities that I've worked with this year that have taken up that opportunity, and they're wonderful to work with. They're already serving the community, and so it's great to be able to work with them and do skills with them.
That's awesome. You're not only saving people's lives, or you're helping other people save other people's life, plus you're giving back.
Yeah, I'm trying to find ways to
we need more Melissas out there. What's your, I mean, you obviously are passionate from a young age, but like, what's your favorite thing about teaching or first aid, or like why, like, I can see you glowing about it, but like, why do you love it so much?
Sometimes you have to remind yourself, like outside of the fact that you're making a living, especially being entrepreneurial, like why am I in the industry? And I like a lot of the success stories that come out of it. So for example, I just finished up my swimming program for July and August. And there was definitely nearing the end where I was getting really tired of being in the lake every day because it was mostly lake lessons.
You're usually like a mermaid.
Yeah, so it was like Monday to Friday in the lake or in private pools for the summer. And I was nearing the end of like my tolerance for it, but I'm like, I just got to push through. But some of my best stories actually came out of my last week. I had I'm not going to share too much information, but basically I had a family that was looking for private lessons because they needed some extra attention for one of their children who has struggled with swimming lessons up till this point, just with needing to get over like hurdles and fears. And so one of the things that we had to learn to do was jump in the water, and there had been lots and lots of barriers to jumping in the water. And then you know, by the end, we had her jumping in the water, and the mom was so thrilled and like posted online, and she's like, I can't believe that we made this next hurdle. Like this is one that's taken time, and I'm so proud of my daughter, and I'm so proud that she made it. And so I got to be a little tiny part of that journey and that safety and that getting over those fears and realizing they can do it.
Well, yeah, and it's going to take that into their life maybe also,
Yeah.
not just in swimming.
Exactly. Like the confidence to be able to do things I had in first aid. Like this was one of my first, was like, wow, first aid makes a difference. But back when I was with the YMCA, I was still teaching basic first aid. They had incorporated into swimming lessons at that time because that was a while ago. But one of my students, we did like the first aid portion of like basic CPR and how do you check your scene and make sure it's safe, and how do you check on someone and figure out what they need, like do they need 911? And within the week of swimming lessons, he came back to me, he's like, you'll never believe it. I actually had to do the things I learned. I never thought I'd have to do this.
I just got chills.
And so for me, those little moments of like, I got to just be one tiny piece of getting someone the opportunity to help someone else build their confidence, save somebody else's life potentially. Like I've heard stories of like, at least we never know like how bad it could have gotten, but they got them to the point where they could be checked on at least. And so to be part of those, that's what kind of is a lot of the drive. I also, to be honest, on the more like a little bit selfish side of being entrepreneurial, I like setting my own schedule. So the fact that I have a bunch of these certifications and abilities means that I can kind of work my schedule and pick up these things that I want to do and build into things like more workshops and like more awareness around these areas, and try to seek out the partnerships that I'm hoping to get.
Well, yeah, and you got such a broad, different certificates, so you kind of do a little bit of everything. You know, mix it up, which is always good.
Yeah.
Do you think if you were to give advice to people, like, do you think we should all be taking like our first aid course?
Personally, if you're asking me, yes.
Right? Like,
some people don't think that that's necessary,
and
but
you probably should. Like we said, I was 12 since I've done mine. Like I'm probably due for like a refresh.
I was going to say things have changed in that amount of time, I'm sure.
How often do you think, like, do they expire?
Yes, certifications expire. If you want to be certified, there's differences between workshops and certifications. Workshops is just general knowledge of things to be aware of.
Okay.
And then people can come to those. They don't hold a certification, but they walk away with like, okay, I want to watch for these things. I know I called 911 for these things. But if you want a certification that kind of goes towards like work or somewhere where you want to go like, hey, I actually officially did all my training and I did the practice, that would be the certification side. Certifications come in handy for like workplaces. Yeah. Or if you just want to know personally, like I was able to complete the things I needed to complete. But I'm very much an advocate on everybody having it. Certifications classically end, depending on the level that you want, somewhere between 2 and 3 years. Okay. In my opinion, though, 3 years after you've taken a 7-hour first aid course, most people forget the majority of what they've learned within the month. Yeah. So unless they like are really thinking about it practicing, or if they take it into their workplace and it's a regular thing, I classically say like if it's something that you want to be aware of, that you are refreshing. Personally, I like every year, but even every 2, if you think that you're going to potentially need it. If you're around people where you might need it. I always advocate parents, please have your CPR and your like a basic like child obstruction and stuff like that, so that you feel confident working with your kids. Like there's always somebody in your realm that you potentially could use first aid with. Yeah.
Well, yeah, or if you're around grandparents or elders. And I just did a shoot at a retirement home. Yeah, like they must need their first aid certificate there to work there, I assume.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to mention on what you do, or something I didn't maybe ask you?
One of the other things that not a lot of people realize is that I have all of my own gear and I'm mobile. So basically if a dental office says we have 12 staff, we need first aid, instead of having to go search for a place and register all of their people, they can just reach out to me. I have all the gear to be able to come on site as long as they meet the space and safety requirements. I can come direct to any location. I am prepared to travel. There's fees and costs around those things, but that's one of the things people don't know is that you don't have to book me through a building. I don't have my own building because I'm still growing. But at this point, I can come to you, or I can find a place to rent in order to do the course for them if they can't meet those requirements.
Well, it's kind of nice, so you can kind of teach wherever.
I can teach wherever. It keeps things like really interesting because people find me for different reasons, whether it be referrals or, a company found out through me through another company because they've worked with me already. And I've been in different places. And so it keeps things kind of interesting getting to travel around a little bit. I'd love to grow partnerships in the Okanagan if I can, just because I already am located here. This would be my goal area, but I'm not opposed to branching out, especially if I can make partnerships. Yeah.
Well, and there's so much water here, just like in this small space of BC where you think of Nelson, Christina Lake even.
Yeah.
Like marina staff.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Like a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a small bet. It's a big deal. This is the community voting for you. And it really helps shine a light on small businesses. So I love that Kelowna Now puts Best of Kelowna Now on, so it can shine a little spotlight on you. So thanks for coming in.
Yes, thank you for having me and for having me be part of the competition to spread light on my business.
And it's amazing. And if we'll put all her contact information, if you have more questions, DM you, social channels you're big on. So give her a follow, or if you're like, oh, I have kids, or I don't have first aid and I need first aid, please reach out to Melissa.
Yes, thank you so much.
Have a good afternoon.